Do you remember that part in the movie Black Panther when Killmonger yells, "Is this your king?" Remember that? Like, that scene hit hard not just because it was a fight, but because deep down a lot of us recognize that moment. That's what it looks like when someone feels unseen. That's what it looks like when you don't belong. That scene is about identity, your position socially, and pain. And herein lies, my friends, where we get some key insights into student behavior too. Watch this. So, there are 5 contributing factors as to how the human species has survived for so long, one of which is the need to belong. Because of this, we have several very powerful psychological mechanisms that are operating in the background and drive a great deal of what we do to actually meet this need. This includes, number 1, your perception of social position. This is basically your brain's constant monitoring of where you stand in a group or hierarchy. In that movie, Killmonger was not just fighting for the throne, he's reclaiming his social position, his status. His emotional intensity, if you will, is fueled by a perceived injustice. Like, he's being denied his rightful position, his story, his place. In the classrooms, especially those that come from like challenging backgrounds, are constantly negotiating their status, their social position, where they belong. So when students feel low socially in that hierarchy, ignored or misunderstood, always being corrected, like, their behavior basically becomes a performance to raise their standing socially. Number 2 is identity formation and coherence. So basically what happens is your brain constructs like a personal identity through stories we tell ourselves about who we are and our place in this world. So in that movie, Killmonger, he basically has like a fractured identity. Sure, he's from Wakanda, but he was raised in America. He was cut off from his heritage, filled with this sense of loss and injustice. So this scene was basically him declaring a new identity, not just like as a challenger, but as a rightful heir. In classrooms, what tends to happen is students will form an identity through the roles we allow them to play. So when a student only ever hears of themselves or is referred to or is treated like the bad kid or the failure or the insert anything negative, what they're going to do is they're going to act from that identity, even if it's painful. They're going to do that because that narrative makes their identity make sense. Number 3, threat detection that is connected to social exclusion. You have to remember, belonging is a survival need. And so your brain treats social exclusion and shame as a threat. This activates emotional behavioral defenses. In that movie, he's experienced loss, abandonment, and cultural erasure. So his aggression is a response to exclusion, not entitlement. In a classroom or school, when students perceive themselves as not belonging for any number of reasons, what is going to happen is their brain is going to do what their brain is meant to do and protect itself. It's triggering threat response systems, and this shows up as defiance or shutting down or aggression. Like, it's not a discipline issue, it's a neurological and psychological defense. Then you have number 4, emotional reward and recognition loops. This is what your brain does to seek recognition and validation to experience those emotional wins. And this is huge because Killmonger in that movie, it isn't just about asserting dominance, he's demanding acknowledgement. And what can happen is when you have students, especially those with more overt behavior problems, the narrative becomes they're seeking attention. But it's so much more than that. It's about validation. They want to be known. They want to be respected. They want to be admired. This mechanism drives a lot of what we know and have described as acting out and attention-seeking behavior. It's all about the need to belong. In that scene with Killmonger, there's so much more behind that statement, "Is this your king?" Like, he isn't just trying to win, he's trying to belong. Don't misunderstand what I'm saying. I'm not trying to justify why students misbehave. I'm trying to help us understand it so that we know what to do about it. Behavior, it's not just about defiance for the sake of defiance, it's about compliance for the sake of connections to others. And if students don't feel that connection, best believe they will fight for it.